Hi everyone, this is Michael Asari. In this tutorial, I'll teach you how to add assignments to your course, or how to add final exams, mid-semester exams, or even add a class work to your course. All right, let's begin. So let's click on course. And then let's make sure we have turned editing on. So turn editing on. And there are two ways of achieving this. You can decide to type your final exams, the assignment, or the class activity in a Word document and upload it onto your Moodle website or your course. You can also decide to type everything within the Moodle website. So we'll look at both approaches. Let's begin with typing everything on the Moodle website. Okay, so we will turn editing on, and then we will scroll down to where we want the assignments or exams to be. So let's add, let's say, a class activity. So we will choose the assignment activity. Then we can say classwork. So the question can be, what do you know about computers? What do you know about computers? We can click on this to display the question on the activity page. So we are typing our question here. We don't want to upload any file. So in this case, we would have to set when the students can see the question, when the question is due, and the cutoff date. So if this is an exam, you can decide to say that the students should not be allowed to see the final exam until a particular date. So if they are supposed to start the exam tomorrow midday, tomorrow at let's say 12, then you would set the date to tomorrow's date, to 30th August, 12 p.m. So they will not have access to this particular question until 12 p.m. In that case, what you are supposed to do, you are not supposed to display the description. You're supposed to hide it, else they will see the description. So they will not see this. They will not have access until tomorrow. And then the due date is when they are supposed to submit that particular exam or assignment. You also have the cutoff date. Now, the difference between the due date and the cutoff date is this. We use the cutoff date to give grace period. So the due date is when the assignment is due, that you are supposed to submit. And the cutoff date is how long they have until they can submit anything. So if you set the due date to, let's say, 31st at 12 p.m., you can set the cutoff date to the same 31st at let's say 2 p.m. So what it means is the student is given 2 hours grace period. So although the due date is 31st August at 12 p.m., anyone who tries to submit after 12 p.m., provided it's not after 2 p.m., will be allowed. However, the system will flag it as a late submission. So we use the cutoff date to give grace periods. But if you want to give strict deadlines, then you would have to set the due date and the cutoff date to be the same. So the cutoff date should be the same as the due date. So in this case, this will also be 12 noon. Then it means there is no grace period. Then the remind me to grade by is when the system should remind you to grade that particular activity. And then when you come down here, okay, when you come down here, we have the submission type. If you want your students to type their answers in or on the website, you can select this and untick this one, which means you don't want them to upload any file. You want them to provide or type their answers within the website. Select the online text. If you want them to upload a file containing their answers, you choose the file submission. You can even allow them to do both or one of the two. So when you enable both, you are saying they can decide or choose to upload their answers or type their answers on the website. Now, if you decide to go with the online text, you would have to enable the word limit and indicate the maximum number of words each student can submit. So let's say 500 words. Okay, now if you are going with this, then you don't need to enable the word limit. You would have to set the maximum number of files a student can upload. And you would also have to set the maximum submission size. How big or huge should the file be? You would have to set that. Okay. And then you would also indicate the acceptable file types, the files that you want your students to submit. That is if you are going with file submission. So you will have to click on choose. And for instance, if you want documents, you will select documents. Okay, select documents. If you don't want all these documents, you want a specific document, then you would have to specify the extension. So for instance, if you want only PDF documents to be submitted, then you would have to select PDF here. Okay, and then click on, you go down and click on save changes. So you can see documents, but we have only PDF. If you want PDF and Word, then you select PDF and Word. So you can scroll down and save it. Okay. Now when you come down, submission settings, you can say require students to click on the submit button. These are other settings you can play around with. Okay, but don't forget to set your grade. I will touch on the important ones. So set the maximum grade for the particular assignment or exam. And you can also restrict access to that particular activity. You can say only students who have paid their fees should be allowed to take part in the activity. In that case, you go to user profile, then you select status, and then you can make it paid. So only students who have paid their fees in full will be allowed to take the exam. Okay. All right. If you don't want to set that, you just remove it. And then the completion, activity completion, you can say students would have to complete or have to meet certain conditions to complete the activity. So you can say students will have to submit this activity to complete it or receive a grade to complete it. Okay, so you can set one of these, and then you can set when they are expected to complete the activity. When you are done, you click on save and return to course. Save and return to course. So this is it. Now, because you are the lecturer, when you click, you can see, but when the students click on it, it will tell them they are not allowed to see until particular the particular time frame that the lecturer is allowing students to see the activity. So let's look at how to add an assignment or a final exam which is in a file. So the same procedure. Let's turn editing on. And then we can go to add activity or resource. We'll select assignment. We can call this final exam. Final. Oh, sorry. Exam. We want to upload the exam from our file. So assuming we already have so this is our exam. Let's upload it. Already have it in a file, so that is it. We can set the due date, the cutoff date, and all that. Then we can indicate the submission types, whether we want them to type their answers in the website or we want them to type it in a Word document and upload it. We can set all that. And the type of files we are expecting the students to submit to us. We can also select those. Okay, so one document. Then we can click on save. We will set our grading. Let's say 10. The restrictions, we want to restrict it to only those who have paid their fees. So we can say user profile. Then we select status. We want to set status. Select status to paid. Okay, and then we want to set date. So this is where we restrict the student from even seeing the question. So please take note of these. This particular one, what do you call it? Date is when you want them to begin submission. So allow submission from this is when you want them to begin submitting the assignment or the final exam. Now this one is when they can have access to the question. So we can say they can only have access after 31st or 30th. Right. And when that is done, you can click on save and return to course. Okay, so you see it says not available unless your status is paid. Also unless it's on or after 30th August. So when a student clicks, they will not be allowed to see their questions. So in a separate video, I'll teach you how to switch your role from a teacher to a student to see exactly what your students will be seeing when they click on an assignment or an exam. Alright, so this is how to add your assignment or your exams. If you have any question, you can post them in the comments section. Thanks for watching. See you in the next tutorial.